So you have a credit card and every month you leave a little balance on it. Not because you have to, but because somebody somewhere told you that carrying a small balance is actually good for your credit score. It shows the bank you're using your credit, right? It tells them you're active. It proves you can manage debt. So you leave 20, 30, maybe $50 on there on purpose, month after month. And meanwhile, that balance is quietly costing you money in interest. Your utilization is creeping upward and your score isn't moving, not 1 point. Sound familiar? Yeah, that's one of 3 myths we are dismantling today. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at your credit score the same way again. My name is Guy, and I spend way too much time thinking about why smart people keep making the same credit score mistakes. If you're someone who feels stuck, whether your score won't move, whether you genuinely don't understand what's helping or hurting you, or whether you've been managing credit for years and still feel like you're guessing, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. All right, let's get into it. Myth 1. Carrying a credit card balance helps your score. Look, I get where this one comes from. The logic sounds reasonable on the surface. You're using credit, you're not paying it off to zero, and you're showing the bank that you're a real borrower. Active, engaged, responsible. But here's the thing. That's not how credit scoring actually works. Tommy Lee, a senior director of analytics and scores at FICO, the company that created the most widely used credit scoring model in America, has said this directly and clearly. Carrying balances from month to month and incurring interest does not help your credit score. Not even a little. And the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau backs this up completely. Paying off your credit cards in full every month is the best way to improve or maintain a good score. Full stop. Here's what most people don't realize. The second biggest factor in your FICO score, making up 30% of your total score, is your credit utilization ratio. That's simply the percentage of your available credit that you're currently using. And a higher carried balance means a higher utilization rate, which means your score is more likely to go down, not up. Let's do the actual math here, because this is where it gets really interesting. Say you have one credit card with a limit of $2,000. You leave a balance of $600 on it because you believe the myth. Your utilization rate is now 30%. Most experts recommend keeping it well below 30%. Some scoring strategies even suggest keeping it under 10% for the best possible impact. So not only is that balance not helping you, it is sitting right at the threshold that starts to hurt you. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but what about the interest? Surely that's not a lot of money on a small balance. Actually, let me show you the bigger picture on that. According to the Federal Reserve, the average interest rate for credit card accounts that are accruing interest was 22.30% in the fourth quarter of 2025. 22%. If you carry a $5,000 balance and make only minimum payments at a 20% APR, Bankrate's own calculator shows you'll be in debt for roughly 23 years and pay more than $7,700 in interest alone on $5,000. So you carried that balance on purpose. It did not help your score and it cost you thousands of dollars. That is the real price of this myth. The action step here is simple. Pay your balance in full every month. If that's not possible right now, fine, but at least pay more than the minimum and get your utilization below 30% as a starting goal. Your score will respond. Myth 2. Closing an old credit card will help your score. This one makes emotional sense. I'll give it that. You've got a card you don't use sitting in a drawer somewhere. Maybe it's from a store you never shop at anymore. Maybe you're worried about fraud. Maybe you just want to simplify your financial life. So you close it, clean slate, done. And then a few weeks later, your credit score drops. Here's why that happens. And once you understand the mechanics, it won't catch you off guard again. Closing a credit card affects your score in 2 direct ways. The first is utilization, which we just talked about. When you close a card, you lose that card's available credit limit. Your total available credit goes down, but your balances stay exactly the same. So your utilization ratio goes up immediately. Here's a real example. You have 2 cards. One has a $3,000 limit. One has a $2,000 limit. You carry a $1,000 balance on the first card. Your total available credit is $5,000. Your utilization rate is 20%. That's solid. Now you close the second card. You still have that $1,000 balance, but now your total available credit is only $3,000. Your utilization rate just jumped to 33%. Your score takes a hit and you haven't spent a single dollar differently. The second way closing a card hurts you is through your credit history length, which accounts for 15% of your FICO score. Closing an account, especially an old one, shortens your average account age over time, and lenders like seeing a long, stable credit history. It tells them you're not a risk. Cutting that history shorter works against you. Now, you might be thinking, what if the card has an annual fee I don't want to pay? That's a fair point. If a card is genuinely costing you money every year with no benefit to show for it, you have a decision to make. But before you close it, call the card issuer first and ask to downgrade it to a no-fee version. Most major issuers will do this. You keep the account open, you keep that available credit, your history stays intact, and you stop paying the fee. Win on all three counts. If the card truly has no annual fee, the smartest move is almost always to leave it open. Put a small recurring charge on it, like a streaming subscription, and pay it off automatically every month. The account stays active, your utilization stays low, and your average account age keeps growing. The action step here is to think twice before closing any card, especially an old one. Explore a product change with your issuer before you make any permanent decision. Myth 3. Checking your own credit score will hurt it. This one frustrates me the most. Not because it's complicated, but because the fear of this myth actually stops people from monitoring their own credit. And when you stop monitoring, you stop catching errors, you stop tracking progress, and you lose control of one of the most important numbers in your financial life. Here's the thing. Not all credit checks are the same. There are two types, a soft inquiry and a hard inquiry. A soft inquiry is what happens when you check your own credit score, when a lender pre-screens you for an offer, or when an employer checks your credit as part of a background check. Soft inquiries do not appear on your credit report in the way that affects your score. They do not move your number by a single point. A hard inquiry is what happens when you actively apply for new credit. A credit card application, a car loan, a mortgage. A hard inquiry does appear on your report and can cause a small temporary dip in your score, typically a few points, and it generally stays on your report for 2 years. The confusion between these two things has scared millions of people away from checking their own credit, and that fear is genuinely costly. Here's what most people don't realize. You are entitled to a free credit report from each of the 3 major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, through annualcreditreport.com. And checking those reports as often as you want will never hurt your score, not once. This matters because credit report errors are more common than most people assume. An inaccurate account, a balance reported incorrectly, a payment marked late when it was on time. These errors can quietly drag your score down for months or years without you knowing. The only way to catch them is to look. There's also the psychological piece here. When you check your score regularly, you build awareness. You start to see what moves the number. You understand your own credit behavior more clearly. And that awareness compounds into better decisions over time. The action step is this. Check your credit report at least once a year through annualcreditreport.com and use a reputable credit monitoring service to keep an eye on your score throughout the year. It costs you nothing on your score and potentially saves you everything. 3 myths. 3 ways that common, well-meaning advice has been quietly working against you. Carrying a balance does not help your score. It costs you interest and can raise your utilization, both of which hurt you. Closing old cards does not clean up your credit. It can spike your utilization and shorten your credit history. Checking your own score does not hurt you. It's a soft inquiry, it doesn't move your number, and avoiding it only keeps you in the dark. Here's the thing about credit scores. The system rewards consistency, not tricks. Payment history accounts for 35% of your FICO score, the single largest factor. Credit utilization is another 30%. Together, those 2 things alone represent 65% of your entire score. Pay on time, every time, keep your balances low. And check in on your report regularly so you always know where you stand. That's it. That is the real framework. No myths, no tricks, no clever hacks, just clear, consistent behavior over time. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who need this information. And if you want to go deeper on credit score strategy, how to build it from scratch, how to recover from a bad mark, or how to use credit to your actual advantage, subscribe there's a lot more where this came from. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 3 myths you believed before watching this video. I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.